Hello, good good evening. My name is Andre Allen Casey, and uh, I'll be conducting our NAV Live series tonight. Um, Normally, I have with me uh, Trevor Smith, but he is uh, not able to speak. Uh, we want to thank everyone for being on. We hope and trust that what we have to share here um, it will be beneficial, and more importantly, that we will all learn. I'm still in office, in my office, so I won't be long here. Notwithstanding, we almost want to get in, but I just want you all to know in the event that I don't get a chance to do so, to thank everyone for being a part of our NAV Life series and the fact that you have been with us for an entire year, especially if this is not the first time that you're on. Um, so thanks 200% for your amazing support. One of Live series is a program that is initiated by the St. Andrew Church of Christ, and we continue to um, uh, serve in this capacity. And hopefully next year we will continue to have programs of this nature, all being well. That being said, we want to go ahead and start and also to do a little recapping. So if you will just pardon me some, let me go ahead and pull up uh, my screen here. Okay. And I'm going to do a little recapping. And um, now for those who this who if you're on for the first time, again, welcome. Notwithstanding, we want to uh, just do a little recapping. It might be different from the part one, some of the things that will be said. But so we invite you, please, to make every effort to go and watch part one. Quite interesting. We're just going to go straight into our recapping now, and hopefully you'll be able to catch up or catch something from it, and then make the connection even as we start with part two. Just as far as an agenda is concerned, uh, what is love? Just take time to describe, to identify that somewhat, the different types of love, what is wrong with how I love, or better still, how I love you. Am I doing my best? Or rather, I am doing my best. And I think that is where part two begins. What if my interpretation of love is flawed? How can I love you? Which should be interesting when we're ready to give examples of what that could look like. And of course, is there an ideal way of loving? And that being said, let me give you an introduction or share with you an introduction here. Uh, um, and the truth be told, this introduction speaks volume of the um, of where is our headspace as to why we are even looking to do a subject matter of this nature. Over the many years, thousands of couples have expressed their undying and unfading love to each other through words and actions, of course. These varying expressions of love is often appreciated, but sometimes it is also rejected. Why would an expression of love not be appreciated from another or from another partner may seem like a conundrum. However, it is the reality of many. And also, far too many couples are still seeking to being loved and feeling loved in their relationships. They are complaining of not being loved the way they want, along with not feeling satisfied by the love given. And so we would like to explore some possible reasons, not only for this breakdown in the communication of love, but also offer some solutions to making love truly effective in relationships. So, what is love? Love is a set of emotions and behaviors characterized by passion, intimacy, commitment. It involves care, closeness, protectiveness, attraction, affection, and trust. That's what it involves. So, one more time, a set of emotions and behaviors that is characterized by passion, intimacy, and commitment. The different types of love that exist, and again, we're just going to skim through these, okay, since this is our recapping mode. But philia is the affectionate love. It is the type of love that involves friendship. As a matter of fact, from this philia, you have Philadelphia, which is the city of love, and you have also a philanthropist, a lover of mankind. It's a kind of love that strong friends feel towards each other. Then, of course, my favorite is the agape love. And as I said in part one, so I now say again, I personally am a work in progress in agape love. I do believe, and this is a personal, what do you call it, disclaimer. I do believe that the agape love um, is the kind of love that everybody should be striving to attain. Attain. We should strive to attain um, the agape love. I really believe it must be our goal, and never stop trying to achieve it. The agape love. For the other loves, some of them are natural, some of them are not so natural, some of them are skewed actually. Um, but yes, I know we wouldn't want to even identify them as love. Notwithstanding, it is still love because there are 8 different types of love. And so we look at philia a while ago, and then now agape. But agape speaks to the what? It is the unconditional or sacrificial love. It's the kind of love that is felt by a person willing to do anything for another, including sacrificing themselves without expecting anything in return. Do you understand why I would now say that is one that I'm looking to attain myself? Because you're not looking for anything in return. And I think that is just so super amazing when everyone and anyone, um, whether you're in a relationship, yes or no, I'm talking about a committed relationship, um, um, that you would still need to strive to attain agape love because no man is an island. In other words, we are going to be um, living with other people. We're going to be relating to other people. And so we need to have, I would like to call it, the objective standard on how to truly love another person. Beautiful, beautiful, I think, the agape love. I even think it's possibly it's one of the most important ones, if not the most important one. But there are others, and I will explain why I think of the 8, these are my top 3. So agape is my top one. Then, of course, you have storge, and that is familial love. That one is very natural, by and large, because it involves family members. You know, we grew up into, especially if we grew up into a household where persons feel loved in that household. You know, rather than having sibling rivalry. Okay, so that is by and large nurtured into a family. You love your grandparents, you love your uncle, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, you know, the store game. Okay. Then, of course, you have ludus. Now, I'm laughing because this ludus love really is the playful, non-committal love. And I laugh because a lot of people, probably too many folks, um, um, display and exercise ludus love. It is the non-committal love. Um, it is the flirting love, it is the seduction love, it is the love that involves casual sex. Okay, it is a term that we use, I love you, just to get what you want from the person, but really there isn't any commitment in your statement, um, because it is non-committal, of course. It is all about what you can get from the person, and so you'll use the word so as to achieve your objective. So it's all about your pleasure more than anything else. Ludus love. You have the Eros love. The Eros and Ludus is very, very close actually, but the Eros is a little bit more romantic. Whereas in the Ludus love, you end up using people. In the Eros love, it has a lot to do with the feelings that you have, the pitter patter of the heart, so to speak. You know, when you see the person, your heart melt, and of course there is a lot of sensuality that is also attached to it, but because there are a lot of sexual desires that is also attached to the eros love. But this is the kind of love where you go, love and warm wishes, all of a special kind, just to remind you you're always on my mind. You know, this is the lyrics bantan kind of love, where when you write those poems or just sing those songs, the person does feel very flattered, and feel close to you by the things that you say. This is the eros love that we're talking about. And again, that romantic feeling and closeness that you feel and have towards um, your mate. Okay. And of course, again, it involves romance, passion, loss, definitely involves lust. Okay. um but 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 it may not necessarily be ludus, although both of them can go together. Oftentimes they can be together and go together, but one can occur without the other. Then you have pragma, and allow me to spend maybe 2 or so minutes with pragma. Pragma now is the love, ladies and gentlemen, that I think, in my opinion, dominates most relationships. I said, I think, I'm not saying it is a fact, but I really do think so because it is the practical love. It is the love that is based upon duty, obligation, and logic. It is the love, it is the unsexy love. I'm not saying sex is not involved into it. I'm not saying eros is not involved into this love. Clearly it is, but I'm also saying that what drives it is the practicality of it. So even if sex is involved, it makes sense to have sex with this person rather than just be going out there with a multiplicity of partners. So even the idea of being committed to this one person is all about, it is safer for you rather than just going out there. Pragma, it makes perfect sense. Okay. I'm just trying to show us how the logics that we have attached to this kind of love and how it continues to dominate most, again, in my opinion, relationships that exist. Um, two persons may be in a relationship because of financial reason or because they have more to lose by breaking up than staying together. Um, Pragma may even involve a person tolerating or ignoring their partner's infidelity. It is possible for pragma to coexist along other types of love, such as ludus and even eros. Okay, so as I said before, it does involve those two. Notwithstanding, um, all we're saying here is that uh, there is a rationale even as to why um, ludus or eros, more so eros, would be a part of this pragma. Okay, um, because there's a particular mindset, and it makes sense to be to execute eros in this relationship. Um, why? Because I wouldn't want my partner to fall in love with someone else outside of it, because it's going to break the arrangement that we have towards each other, and also the financial benefits that can be accrued when both of us stay together as a couple. Okay, pragma. Pragma is so amazing, though many folks do not want to admit its presence in their lives and living. Notwithstanding, it is. I again think that it is quite um, uh, uh, evident in many relationships. Of course, you have mania. That's the obsessive love. That's the love that says, you know, listen, if I can't have you, no one will. Okay. Um, then of course you have philautia. Here's the next one. So agape, pragma, and philautia, I believe, are the three very important ones. But even before I choose pragma, definitely philautia, agape and philautia, agape and philautia. And why philautia? Because philautia speaks by and large to how you love yourself, how you view yourself, what do you think of yourself, being comfortable with yourself, not trying to satisfy everyone's desires or opinions about you. Pragma. You're not trying to change because people said you must and you should. If you're going to change, it's because you understand the value of so doing. You're not going to harm yourself. You're not going to put down yourself. You're not going to take any kind of put down from anyone else, for that matter. Philautia. Now, it has a dark side because we're not inviting folks to become in love with themselves, okay, which can lead to a personality disorder like um, narcissism or narcissistic personality disorder, okay? And of course, we continue to share some aspect of what self-love could look like, um, and or just to continue to talk about philautia here, self-worth. Self-love is not the same as selfishness. Self-worth is not to be considered the same as self-worship. Self-affirmation is different from self-conceit. Self-denial is not the same as self-denigration. And of course, humility is not the same as humiliation. Okay. But what does it mean to love yourself? And let me just quickly read this. I think it's beautiful. It said, valuing oneself is vital for a fulfilling life. It involves recognizing strengths and imperfections, treating oneself kindly, and prioritizing personal well being. When you love yourself, you cultivate resilience and inner peace, and enabling you to navigate life's challenges with grace. Self love isn't about vanity, but acknowledging your inherent worth and nurturing it. Say it again. Self love isn't about vanity, but acknowledging what? Your inherent worth and nurturing it. I love that. By embracing self love, you build a solid foundation for healthy relationships and pursue goals with confidence. See why I would say it is, if it is possibly the number one, agape number one, and then philautia number two. Um, Definitely, because it teaches us to love ourselves. Incidentally, the two greatest command given Love God and love mankind. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, mind, soul, body, and strength. Love thy neighbor as thyself. It is you that is doing the loving to Almighty God and to people. But in loving other folks, it says, love thy neighbor as thyself. So it is expected that we would have already understand self-love or what it means to love ourselves. Okay, beautiful, love it. Okay, so we're not going to go through some of these exercise, but uh, but I want to spend a little time right here because it is going to set the foundation for us to 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 start part two. And here it is. What is wrong with how I love you? What is wrong with how I love you? You can almost say part two is beginning right here. But what is wrong with how I love you? Because of what oftentimes we associated with love while we are growing up, each time we heard the term or hear the term, I love you, it is supposed to bring with it a particular kind of treatment, especially considering that we have been nurtured to believe and accept that once we have heard the term I love you, I must be appreciative and accept the treatment, even if that treatment feels painful. Matter of fact, some folks might even go as far as to say that um, it's because I love you why I hit you, I beat you, or I treat you a particular way. So you feel the pain, and the other person is saying, well, it's love, I love you, why I do these things to you. So you need to understand and appreciate what I'm doing to you, right? So there are times in which that is a mindset that a lot of folks have, and even want to gaslight you into accepting the way that they love you, and you must not complain about it. What is wrong with how I love you is what we're talking about here. For me to appreciate your love, you will need to find out how I want to be loved. That is the disclaimer here. That's what we are advocating here. That's what we're trying to push and have folks to not only cultivate but have the conversation about how you are loving me. And not because I use the word I love you, it necessarily means that I must be naive and gullible to those words. Remember now, can somebody come on and tell me which of the love that somebody could be using and even stating, but really have sinister or impure motives? Which one of them could it be? Or maybe two? Can somebody come on and tell me? It might be in the chat. Very good. Ludas. Very, very good. Excellent. There you go. Thanks much, Karine. Excellent. Mhm. That very, very good. So folks can be using it and really don't mean us any good. And worse if we're not used to hear. And since we have been conditioned to when we hear it, we must be vulnerable, then sometimes we find ourselves in relationships and we're going to get hurt because we heard the words, I love you. I love you, so I love you. I love you. When really and truly, their motives are quite impure. It's all about what they can get from you and not about what they're prepared to give to you. Okay. Where am I? So, uh, although it was your best effort, it was still not satisfying me. You're giving me what you like and love and not what I desire. What is wrong with how I love you? What is wrong with it? You're giving me what you like and what you love and not what I desire. That is what is wrong with it. There are different types of wrong loves that exist. You know, the and why so? Because my goal, in other words, I may only be interested in having a certain kind of relationship or I'm experiencing a certain type of relationship. That's the reason why what I'm giving to you is not good to you and good for you, because of the context that I'm coming from. Maybe I was hurt. And so, therefore, although I am saying I'm loving you, I'm not prepared to give all of me to you. I'm coming in this relationship because of what you can give to me or what I can get from you. Sometimes we might even have what is called a codependent relationship, and that is where, so I will say I love you and really make you feel love and treat you a particular way, and I can be very practical in the things that I do to you. So you love me on a because of basis. And it makes sense for us to say, I love you. Why? Because of what the person is doing to us and doing for us. You see, that again speaks to which kind of love? Who can tell me? That again speaks to which kind of love? That's if anybody says, have it in the chat here. Or somebody can come on and tell me. That speaks to what kind of love? Which kind of love? We shared it earlier.
Love.
Say again?
Pragma.
Pragma. Excellent. Very, very good. Pragma love. Right? And, and if you think about it, many of us, that's how we speak. We talk about, I love you because of. My little small challenge with that, folks, is that once the because of starts to diminish, then we give ourselves a reason or enough reasons to stop loving. One of the beautiful things of agape love, and this is why I said it's the most important one, agape love never fails. Agape love what? Never fails. Agape love is not dependent on what it gets to decide what to give. Agape love, when you squeeze it, it is just, it's like an orange. When you squeeze orange, you're not going to get lime juice out of it. But that's agape love for you. Even when you squeeze it and crush it up, it only can produce agape love. That's all it knows. So beautiful, folks. So beautiful. And I hope that when I reach by the end of this, we'll have more appreciation for the agape love and striving to attain it in our own lives and living. But equally understand the context of these other types of love. And while some of them will still be a part of our relationships, they should not supersede the agape love. Yes, so I admitted it. That is my goal. I do not think it should supersede it, but that's just my opinion. But let me continue as I continue to defend the agape love and why we should aspire for the same. So, but I mentioned earlier what is wrong with how you love me or how I love you, because some folks might want a codependent relationship. In other words, they are doing the pragma love to prove to you or to say to you, you must depend on me. You catch that, folks? They are doing the pragma love, so they can buy this for you. As a matter of fact, everything, before you know it, you feel like you can't live your life without them. So therefore, so everything that you have, listen, the food may have, the job may have, the health may have. I mean, when you're finished, it seems as if you are a replica of them. That's a codependent relationship, folks. You are their shadow. You don't have your own opinion about how something must be. And so we see that pragma love, like I said, it also have the deep side of it, about where you can be in love with yourself. So we have to watch it. Not pragma, philatia rather, but we're not discussing that. We're just saying here that how pragma can be manifested in a codependent relationship. What is wrong with how I love you? Let's see what else could be wrong with how I love you. Um, we might be experiencing toxic love, and how so? Because somebody might have a personality disorder. The person might have narcissistic personality disorder. They're full of themselves. It's all about them. And you have to continue to serve them. They might have bipolar. They might have schizophrenia. Both of these disorders have terrible mood swings. And how they think, especially when they feel overwhelmed and stressed. And the things that they are prepared to do without thinking in a very objective way in relation to the consequences. Yes. But not only that, they might have paranoid personality disorder. And so even you could have if you're talking to your mother, you're wrong. It's who that you're talking to. They just have to be in the know and literally manage and control every aspect of your life and living. And they have to know. And you are always in the place and the position of proving your love to these persons. And whatever you do is never enough for them. That is what is wrong with how I love you. So let us not be gullible when somebody just come and say, I love you, because sometimes we don't even understand or recognize where they are coming from, their context, or the different issues that they may have themselves. Mental issues, that is. You know, it is measured in Jamaica that over 40% of our population have a mental disorder. That's measured, you know. That is what is reported. 40%. So let us not just you know, be so open-minded that our brains fall out. Antisocial personality disorder. Do you know what one of the characteristics of antisocial personality disorder, folks? These persons do not have any conscience. They have no conscience. Matter of fact, they are prepared, if they are prepared to exploit you, especially if you're weak. Hmm? They can get away with murder, so to speak. Can you imagine a person of antisocial personality disorder and you're married to that person? You don't just say that you're a doormat for the rest of your life. Just like the narcissistic personality disorder, too, by the way. But at least from time to time, because there are different types of narcissism that exist, at least with the narcissist, you know, you might have what is called the covert narcissism. You have overt, you have covert. The covert now may look like they are doing something good, but it's coming right back to them. They are the ones who must get the praise, but they will do good to you so that them look good. So at least you get something. You get some kind of good treatment, so to speak. And all I'm saying, but not so with the antisocial personality disorder. They couldn't care less how you feel about something. They don't have no conscience. Borderline personality disorder. All I'm just saying, maybe I'm ignorant of how to express love is another reason, or demonstrate it in such a way that you would feel love. And so, what is wrong with how I love you? Maybe I'm a perfectionist. I won't go through that. Um, what is wrong with, but I am doing my best. I am doing my best. So, since that is the way I love you, then my excuse to you is I am doing my best. What else do you want from me? I'm doing my best. What is wrong with that? before I bring up my stuff because I'm about to go here with that statement, and I feel like I can get some pushback on this one here because of where my mindset is when I come up with that term, but I'm doing my best. But what could that mean? Anybody can come on and talk now. But what could that mean when if somebody should say to you, although they are loving you in a way that you may not like, and you now are having the conversation with them to say, hey, I don't appreciate the way you're loving me. And their response is, but I'm doing my best. That is the context. What does that mean? Your time, folks. But I'm doing my best. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a raised hand. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Michael, I think your hand is up. Okay. But I'm doing my best. Can somebody come up, can talk? I don't mind if you talk to me. Okay, Michael says, based upon what is mentioned here, the different types of love, many people are living something other than love in relationships. Meaning, let me see if I can manipulate this some more. Meaning, if they don't know what to look for, give or receive trouble. Okay. Take it or leave it. Very, very good. But I'm
Yes,
doing
brother.
but I'm doing my best. I love that. Take it or leave it. Okay, then. Let me see. Anybody else? That's what Ruan said. Um, Diony? Diony
My mic
says,
is just, I just get to unmute.
okay, okay. Yes. All right, go ahead.
Sorry for the delay. For somebody who take that position, the person is basically saying, I am the author of love. I know what it is. I know what to give, and your opinion really doesn't matter. Um, Whatever, as you said, I am doing my best. They don't even care to make any adjustments, so they're not concerned about the other person's feeling. They just hold it one-sided, and again, you said narcissistic. So they hold a one-sided view that they're doing, and what they are doing is sufficient, even if it's not sufficient for you.
All righty. Question. Not to you necessarily, but to anybody else out there. Question. So when the person says, so is there a place for somebody to say that, but I'm doing my best? What is wrong with that statement? I mean, not. I know that we've gotten some answers already, and I guess there are more. But is there a place for that though?
I'll continue. There could be a place for it, but it's not a very broad place to be. The place is that you will also have to admit that if you are limited, you're also willing to make changes. But you're actually saying this is where I am.
Point. So,
Okay.
all right, excellent. Thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Could I say something?
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, man. Good night. Like this discussion. Suppose a person is saying that you need to provide financially, right? Something that is beyond what you can do, and you tell the person that you are doing your best. In that context, in that context,
Right.
I
So,
think
so, so
that
is,
that
in
person
other words,
can
is there
be.
something wrong with that in that context?
Well, I wouldn't say something wrong with it in that context because financially you should know what you are capable of doing. Um, and based on your level of income and how many income streams you have coming in, probably the person is being unreasonable. You know. Um, well, I'm just looking on one side in terms of financial, but in terms of
No,
other
that is good.
aspects.
That is good. That's what I'm saying. That's why I asked the question, is there a place for it? Because I must admit, the context that I introduced was more hitting out against it. But I also recognize that, and that's why I think Michael Brown says, yes, but it cannot be in a very broad way. That oftentimes we use it and how we use it and why we use it. But are there circumstances and situations, just like the one that you have just mentioned, where the persons really are doing their best? And so, could it be that you're being unreasonable?
And that is what the person who is loving the narcissist will experience. Because a narcissist, you can never do enough for that narcissist.
True talk. True
Yeah.
talk. Thank you.
If I may, I will
Go ahead.
agree. I will agree with the last person who said there are limits to I'm doing my best. So the person could be doing their best financially. I will take that. And with that, I think there's room for you to say, look, this is what I have, this is what I'm doing with it. Be open, right? But then I also look at the fact that the person who is saying I'm doing my best sometimes plays the victim. I'm doing my best and you're asking so much of me and I can't do any more and woe is me and you're trying to stress me out. When I'm trying to explain to you that what you're doing is not really working for me. You might think you're doing your best, you may be bringing in the money, but I feel lonely. Or how you talk to me, I feel hurt. Maybe because you figure you're earning the cash, so you have the talk. Because the partner will need more than just the money. You could get all the money in the world, but you treat me like the scullery maid, then I'm not being loved. It's not going to be enough. So it depends.
Excellent. Excellent. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yes, Ron, I think I saw your hand. Go ahead, Ron.
Okay, thanks. Good night. Back to what Mikey had said. I think I'm in agreement with Mikey in the sense that I think it's more palatable when there's palatable in terms of receiving that boy. I'm doing my best. I think that is more palatable when at least there's an acknowledgement to say, okay, fine. I realize this is not something that you want in terms of to be loved, but I'm trying and I'm doing my best. I think it is more palatable when at least there is an acknowledgement as opposed to the take it or leave it stance. Well, I'm doing my best and that's just that. At least if there's an acknowledgement, then I think that is more palatable than just a straight off I'm doing my best and just take it or leave it.
Okay, excellent. Anybody else? Cause I'm remember, you know, the position that I was coming from was more, I must admit, that's why this part, I don't know if somebody wants to come back on and say something, but before you come on, remember, you know, I was talking about, here's the context. What is wrong with how I love you? And so we have identified that you have different folks who are coming from different contexts, different circumstances. And one of our responses to that, and if the person speak out and say, I do not want to be loved this way, I'd prefer, you know, maybe you're ignorant of how to express love or demonstrate it in such a way that where I would need to feel love. But guess what happened? And can you imagine I have the conversation with you. So it's not that so just to remind you again of the context. The context is simply this. We're discussing what is wrong with how I love you. And to say that I have a place to say, hey, I want to be loved different than what you're giving to me. And then the person's response to you is, well, but I'm doing my best. So I understand the other context that came in, and I support those other contexts, by the way, but I must admit I was leaning more now to the one where if somebody says, I would, you know, this is my love language, for example, and I'd appreciate that you understand my love language and try to supply it. Don't give me, you know, give me milk rather than tomato juice, right? Because you like tomato juice, but I like milk. And I'm asking you if love me the way I want to be loved. Okay. And the person says, yeah, well, tough. I am doing my best. Take the tomato juice. So that is the context once more about hence the I'm doing my best. But I equally recognize that there are instances where it is um, um, it is acceptable, and quite so. Okay. So did we have more comments on that about the I'm doing my best?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, as I said, I don't think it's I'm doing my best is good enough personally, because all right, if I'm for most people, I figure, well, if you're coming from the background that the wife is the cooking, washing, cleaning, da 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 da, take care of the house kind of person, right? And I come from work and I'm trying to let my husband know I care for him. I still wash and cook and clean and do all of that. But how I talk to him, he deems it disrespectful. And most important to him is to feel respected. Oh, the cleaner clean. Cook the best meal put on the table. He's not going to feel like the husband he wants to feel like. Because although the house sparkle, he's not getting the love that he wants in terms of the respect. And for me to say, well, I did my best, because when I finish, I'm tired. I'm exhausted because I come in from work and make sure there's hot meal on the table. I make sure that the house is clean. I make sure he looks sharp going to work. But when he comes into the master, how I talk to him. And that's what he wants, more respect. It's not like he wants a dirty house, I'm just saying, when he goes among his friends and I'm with that group, respect him how I talk to him. No, I can't say, boy, I'm doing the best I can, because you never come into this place and chaka chaka yet. Because that's not what is doing it for him. So it cannot be, but I'm doing my best and it's okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Wow. Okay. I have to move on though, but all I'm saying, I mean, I must admit that is the context. So yes, somebody says it is kind of one-sided, but yes, and I agree. I agree. I agree that it is one-sided, but this is why I went back to that particular context. And the reason why I took it to be one, but I also acknowledged that there are instances and circumstances in which it can also be quite acceptable to say, I'm doing my best. So we did acknowledge that part there too. Notwithstanding, what we are equally saying though, that the I am doing my best oftentimes is used as an excuse though. That's what is also put on the table here. It is oftentimes, I'm not saying all the time, but oftentimes. And so here's some things that I have. So don't throw any stones at me. It's not yet. I have to watch the time. Wow. But what could I'm doing my best mean? Sometimes whenever we tell our spouses that we are doing our best, we are in essence saying, look at what I am doing and not what you are not getting. Not only that, that's soaking a little bit. I'm doing my best says it is you who needs to be a lot more flexible rather than putting pressure on me to do better. Let that one soak in too. And here's the worst one. Well, not yet. I'm doing my best says even if our best is their worst, they should still accept it. I'm doing my best. And then, of course, the final one, I'm doing my best says shut up and don't complain and learn to be grateful. Andre Allen Casey. So that is where I was in my mind when I put this thing together about I am doing my best and what could be in the mindset. So yes, it was kind of one directional, but I tried to also introduce the aspects of it that could also be acceptable. Okay, what if my interpretation of love is flawed though? Well, then it means, folks, that we would definitely not be speaking the same love language. It would mean that my best may feel like your worst. Then we are going to have a challenge in the way we communicate and agree on a language that is understood by both persons. We're going to have we are going to have to change rather the way we communicate, because somebody says, I'm doing my best, and you say, well, yeah, but suppose your best is still not satisfying for me. Can we do something? You know, should you just accept that and therefore have to tolerate something that you don't like? Or should it be the case where we go, wow, all right then. Thank you for telling me that you're doing your best. Maybe I need to dial back a little bit, and I'll try and dial back a little bit. So I'm still going to be accepting. So rather than push back too hard and I'm doing my best, maybe I can also step back and say, wow, thank you, because I don't know why, for some reason, I thought you were taking me for granted. So I'm happy that really, and maybe I was being too selfish and not recognizing the sacrifices that you are also making. So I really appreciate you having this conversation with me. And I will look through a different lens now that I understand that you're doing your best. Okay. So, but let us have the conversation, but also the person who is saying I'm doing my best, they also have to be careful of the message that they're also sending when somebody says, hey, what is going on here? Soon come and talk to you, Galaxy 23. Okay. So just be mindful of that, please. All righty. Because it is very important that we learn to speak the same language. Rather than saying it's only Spanish me know, I'm not gonna learn English. You should have know where to take up. And this one says, well, it's only English me know, I'm not gonna learn Spanish. You should have know where you take up. Why don't you learn Spanish? Why don't you learn English? And so everybody is defending their positions rather than saying, how is it that I can serve you? No, but maybe how can I serve the relationship? Whoa, let me not jump ahead of myself, because I have something to say on that. Let me not jump ahead of myself. My time is going, so I'll soon come back to some of you. Please, just give me a few minutes here. Okay? So the obvious question then to me is then, how can I love you? Because you might be doing your best, and if your best is not serving me, what must we do? What can we do? So how can I love you? Well, here are some suggestions. We can start by stop giving our partners our best. Rather, what is best for the relationship? Remember your question in a Galaxy 23. I'm coming back to you, but remember your question. We can start by doing what? By stop giving our partners our best. And I know this supposed to, I think the chat's supposed to be flooded with questions and say, what kind of foolishness is that? And yeah, maybe it is. But this is something, this is my interpretation of my experiences in my profession. And I have found, well, you know what? Let me go to this point. I'm suggesting that we do our best for the relationship and not primarily for the other partner, but do the best for the relationship. And so, you know what? Let me continue again. What am I saying? Sometimes we deny ourselves and claim that we are sacrificing for the other person, and therefore end up keeping scores of how much good we have done. And so if the sacrifice we made goes unappreciated, then of course, guess what happened, folks? We most definitely feel cheated and become demotivated. I am doing my best, and this is how you say thank you. You come and complain, and you vex and go on. A matter of fact, how dare you come and push back and for me to even have to be qualifying what I'm doing to you and for you in this relationship. You're blind. Everybody else, when they see me, they say, boy, you're such a wonderful wife, or you're such a wonderful husband. And everything that they have to say about what we continue to do speaks volume of What kind of love? Prado. Because it speaks about I love you what? Because of. And since I'm doing more because of than you, you have no place to complain. And so take what I give you. Because look how much I'm doing, look how much sacrifice I'm doing. It's me put roof over your head. It's me why you eat. It's me why you have insurance. Me. Appreciate what you have. You know how much other folks would love to get what you have. And you're over here saying, I don't feel loved. Or I want to be loved this way. The minute I get rid of you, I have 10 persons line up to replace you. You both, I don't feel love. You need to learn to be appreciative. Folks, just hear me out, please. I'm not talking foolishness. Before we push back, just hear me out. Have an open mind to what I'm saying, please. And the other person, many times, they're like, wow. But so even if they do not have that kind of narcissistic mindset and attitude that I've just explored, let's say they use humility to try to convince you that, listen, be appreciative of the sacrifice that I'm making. Let's say they come and they say, hi, I'm really doing my best. I do not have any other source of income. We can only afford a place like this. We can't even have a car. We only can buy 2 bicycles. That's all we can do. And once we eat, whatever we're going to put on the food on the table, it can't stretch any further. And I'm not pressuring you, and I'm not asking you to, I'm not pressuring you to do more. I'm just saying what I have to offer. This is where my limit begins and ends. And so I'm more appealing to you to understand my limitations in not loving you the way you would like to be loved. And so you want me to give you my salary, you already have, but if I give you my salary, we cannot pay the bills. Remember your challenge. Yes, you're a drunkard. Yes, you're going to gamble away the funds. You're going to give it away. Remember your challenge. And so this is why I'm taking stock of what we're doing and how the money is spent in this home. But I'm doing my best. Please understand. Wrong context for some folks right here saying, yeah, but Mr. Allen Casey, oh, that is extreme and real. Is it, folks? Is it? But I want us to catch this part here. Sometimes we deny ourselves and claim that we are sacrificing for the other person. And therefore, you see, when we keep scores, and when the person don't appreciate it, man, we get angry or pull back because look at what I'm doing. And especially if everybody else is seeing what I'm doing but you. How can I love you? I said, I come in. What is best for the relationship does not promote compromising, but rather complementing. That's what I'm advocating. How can I love you? It's not so much about pleasing the other person, but doing the best for the relationship. So even if the husband says, I want you to give me the money, that's not the best for the relationship or the family. If you do, knowing fully well that he is he's going to give it away. He's going to be very careless and gamble away the funds. What is best for the relationship? is a part of what we need to be thinking, and not necessarily for the other person, because maybe the other person is also coming from a place of selfishness too. Maybe they're in it because of what they can get. So, but what is best for the relationship? And then try to communicate that to the person. You know, just because my wife says, listen, I need a brand new car, that's not the best for the relationship at this point in time. So because it's not the best for the relationship at this point in time, maybe, you know, I said, well, that is true. And she said, if you love me, you'll buy me a brand new car. I said, well, I love you, but it is not, it does not necessarily mean that if you don't get a brand new car, I do not love you. See, we're still going back into the what? What kind of love, somebody? Let's put the thing down and call it out. What kind of love? Somebody quickly, time is finishing up. Start with P.
Or pragma love.
Pragma. Thank you again, sis. Coming right back to the pragma. Now, one person does not have to lose for the other person to feel better and to be better if both persons are benefiting by their servicing. That is where we need to go, or that's where we need to be. That is a suggestion, folks. So if I'm pouring into the relationship, not necessarily into the person, then the person will also benefit. Or the person should benefit. But I'm pouring into the relationship. Because sometimes they can pour into the person, but then you develop resentment in so doing because you feel like you're losing. You're compromising too much. And it's like you are blowing breath in the other person. You're filling up their balloon while you go out of breath yourself. Empty bag can't stand up. In other words, my sacrifice is as beneficial to me as it will be for you. That's what we mean by we want to do our best for the relationship. This must be a start, but this is not where we must stop. Is there an ideal way of loving? Well, I think so. But before I get into that, let me go now to go back to the chat and see who had to say what. And remember, the time is, we probably only have maximum 10 minutes leave before we have to look to close. So let me see the new. So go, it was Galaxy. You wanted to say something, Galaxy? I saw your hand up. I said, well, I would come to you. And let me read the comments in the meantime. To grow, there have to be changes that are cultivated. That's true. Okay. That compromise versus complement. That's true. Sounds like you plan to start World War III. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Sorry for the delay. Well, what you mentioned about doing what's best for the relationship kind of answer what I was gonna ask.
Okay.
Because I was saying, is there some minimum acceptable standard that you must meet? Because if somebody says, I'm doing my best and it does not meet the minimum standard of what a relationship should have, then definitely they can do better. If the person is doing their best earning minimum wage and they're not seeking a way to improve themselves, going back to school, doing something to uplift themselves, then I mean, you can do something, but it will take some time. you know, as a rationale to say, boy, well, I cannot do more financially now, but when I complete a course and then try to get a different job, then I can probably do more. And whatever the case is, but whatever the context is, I think somebody must be able to to see that is this a minimum standard, their minimum standard that I can look at and compare to say, well, you know, I definitely can do more in
Okay.
whatever area.
All right, thank you very much. You don't have to answer this because I want to move on, but don't answer this. But can you imagine though somebody become a cripple into the relationship, and you're still asking them to clean the house, and they say, you know, I'm doing my best, and they're in a wheelchair, still trying to clean the house, and wash and cook and clean. And if they and you come and say, boy, the place look away, and they say, but I'm doing my best. Who is being unreasonable here? Like I said, don't answer. So what is best for the relationship, man, is what I am advocating. So if the person becomes a cripple, then you too must, rather than saying, I want to be loved this way, you know, what is best for the relationship? Since the situation has now changed, what is my best course of action for the relationship? What is my best course of action for the relationship, considering that the dynamics have no change? Okay. All right. According to first, is there an ideal way? Yes, I do believe so. According to 1 Corinthians chapter 13 from verse 47, and I must, I remember when my wife said that to me, she says, you know, yeah, this is the way I want you to start loving me going forward. She said, I want you to love me according to 1 Corinthians 13 from verse 47. And everything about 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 47 speaks volume of which one of the loves, folks? The agape love. It says, love is patient, love is kind. Love does not envy, does not boast. It's not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. It does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects. You know what the verse 7 says? It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. This is the kind of love that a relationship would need to embody. That's all I'm suggesting. Okay. Is there an ideal way to love? Yes. I know I'm in love when I am not looking for love in or from you. In other words, even if I don't get it, I know how to give it. And so my love towards you is not tit for tat. I know I'm in love when my partner's bad behavior will not dictate my response. So again, here it is that you are behaving a particular way. I do not have to mirror that ugliness I see in you. I can be the example of who I want you to become. I know I'm in love when I can look up to be and not across and become. Look up to the standard, the objective standard. 1 Corinthians 13, 4-7 could be that objective standard. So look to become that standard, and let that standard of what love should look like and what it must be, let it become an embodiment in you. Okay? And not necessarily trying to look for it into the other person. You know, a lot of times in our conversation with each other, we say, you know, yeah, I know you don't love me now. You know, I love you more because look at what I do. And so we're continuing to keep scores and let the other person know that, listen, I am making more sacrifice in this relationship than you are. So I know what love is, you don't. you know. So we have to try and safeguard ourselves from having that not only mindset, but those type of conversation. Because if we do, then I'm suggesting that that's not agape love. I know I'm in love when I am ready to read my book and stop concentrating on turning your pages. In other words, you know, sometimes we're always telling the other person what to do and how to love and how to be and where to be and who to be. Right? I am suggesting that no. What does love, how am I going to um, uh, uh, be an example of 1 Corinthians 13 from verse 4 to 7? In what ways can I be an example of 1 Corinthians 13 from verse 4 to 7? I think is I think should be a part of our goal in ensuring that we exercise and execute the ideal way of loving. I know I'm in love when I can realize that my decision will determine my destiny. I know I'm in love when I am prepared to love you in spite of and not because of. I know I'm in love when I stop competing, comparing, and controlling. I know I'm in love whenever I am prepared to compliment as against complaining and condemning. You know, if you mean well to not only your partner but to the relationship, if you want the relationship to reach a certain phase and stage, then watch what you say. You have to be careful about how you get vexed so easy for every little thing. And that we spend time praising and looking for the good that is being done in the relationship, and being thankful for the growth that you are seeing in your partner, and continue to encourage such a growth rather than always seeing something negative. And the only time we have anything to say is when we're complaining. You keep on doing this, and I can't take when you say this, and I can't. How often do we say, you know, thank you for doing this, and thank you for growing in that way, and thank you for being understanding? You know, that is what I'm talking about. You know, be the example of what you want to see into the relationship and how you want to see the relationship grow. But of course, we have a template as to what the behavior must look like in the relationship. 1 Corinthians 13 from verse 4 through to 7. I know I'm in love when expressing myself is better than exposing you. And so, folks, I know I'm in love when how I feel must not regulate what I must do. I must learn to inform my feelings before I follow them. I know I'm in love when I'm prepared to forgive you fully and not with limited, conditional, or even detached forgiveness. And I know I'm in love when I am determined to learn your love languages. Do I have one more? Like I said, I have one more. I know I'm in love when I recognize that partnership is not ownership. I know I'm in love when I recognize that I was created in the image of God. Therefore, my actions and reactions must be satisfying to Him. I truly hope that we will understand what true love is, because that's what we have been trying to share and talk about. I want to know what love is. And now that we're at the conclusion of our presentation here, that we'll still understand the context of how we use love and speak about love and share love, but also recognize that there must be a higher order of love that everyone should strive to attain. and that is the agape love. Thank you so very much for being here. And again, we want to thank the St. Andrew Church of Christ for hosting this program. It's an initiative of the St. Andrew Church of Christ. And we hope and trust that you continue to support us. But let me see if there are any further comments or questions before I close out. And I'm not seeing anything. So again, just wanting to know that we, in a very big way, appreciate your continued love and attention and service and support to our Nav Life series. We never take for granted your presence. We, of course, continue to invite you to be a part of our services. We'd love to see you. Yes, we know that you can come online, and that is better than not coming at all. So please, you can use the same platform and be a part of our services. But when you are there in person, then the fellowship is different. Okay, and so we most definitely we want to shake your hand and greet you and see how we can continue to support each other in some tangible ways, and how we can continue to not only learn from each other but be examples of love. We meet at the St. Andrew Church of Christ on Sundays, 77. That is tomorrow, 77 Red Hills Road. We begin at 9 o'clock on the dot. So if you can come, please make every effort to do so. Hopefully, all being well, come next month, we will continue with our Nav Life series. Hopefully, I would like to introduce another subject matter, but it will probably be in February or March before you hear from me again. But our esteemed Trevor Smith, I think, will start the year right. Well, hopefully, right? And so, but I want to look at codependency in relationships. Really want to look at that and how it continues to affect relationships, and even how sometimes personality profiles contribute to a person being the boss in the relationship, making the other person feel like they're in a codependent relationship. But I'm still thinking it through and such lights and working it through. But again, many thanks all for being here. And again, we are looking forward to seeing you first Saturday in January 2025. In January 2025. Happy holidays if we don't ever, before, during this holiday season. And of course, be quite prudent and let wisdom prevail. And more importantly, love thy neighbor as thyself, as we continue to love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, mind, body, and strength. God bless you. Have a good evening.